5 seconds of wisdom today is finding the light in every situation. Okay? You want to make sure that you are mindful of the negativity that's in your life. Be aware of the negativity that's in your life. And find yourself overcoming the negativity that's in your life. Because you don't deserve to focus on the negativity, right? You need to find the positives within the situation. You need to find the positives within the situation. You need to find yourself finding the light within every situation. There is positives to negative situations. Same way in positive situations there's negative, right? But you want to focus on positivity, right? It's how you change your perspective. It's how you win. It's how you change your mindset. It's that winning mindset. If your mindset is always negative, you always finding negative, then you're in a losing mindset. Finding positivity is what brings you to this positive mindset. You have to break out of cycles, right? But you need to do it in a positive way. People get hurt and go hurt people. But if you think about it, if you was to focus on the positive of the situation, showing you what not to do and what to do, you wouldn't do it again, right? People have to focus on the light in the situation. There's a lot of confusion when it comes to that. A lot of people don't want to focus on the light in the situation, right? So that's why I'm telling you, focus on the light in the situation. Point blank, period. Okay? And now, the next segment is be vulnerable, right? I don't care if you're wrong. I don't care if you're right. I don't care if it was true or if it was fake. If you're being authentic and you're being vulnerable, that's what matters. Be vulnerable. Finding yourself in vulnerability is what moves you into a positive mindset. Finding yourself in vulnerability is what helps you gain some type of clarity and wisdom, right? If you can't be vulnerable in a situation, you're not being yourself. You're wearing a mask. You need to go, find yourself. You're wearing a mask. There should be no point where you have to put on a persona that is not yours. There's no point in life where you have to use a defense mechanism. You have to be vulnerable. Because being vulnerable is what makes you different, right? However you move in your vulnerability is what makes you you. Be mindful of that. Be mindful of that. Right? I understand the reason why I'm talking about this is because I understand in Mercury retrograde, a lot is going on. A lot of people are having a lot of things happen to them. A lot of people are having a lot of stuff affect them, hinder them, with whether it be in relationships, whether it be in relationships, career, finances, whether it be in any of those. Find the light in the situation and make sure that you can be vulnerable with yourself. If you can't be vulnerable, you'll never surrender to the situation. When people cannot change, it's because they cannot surrender to the change. You have to be okay with things changing. You have to be okay with surrendering to situations. If you're not ready for change, you'll never be ready for change, because no one's ready for change. The truth is, not one person is ready for change. You have to be vulnerable in that situation, and you have to surrender. It's not easy. It's never going to be easy. It's never going to be easy. But these are the keys. These are the two important keys to finding peace within any situation. If you find the light in the situation, you'll never ever focus on the negativity that's around you. And that positivity is going to get you out that situation. And you're going to find yourself in an even more positive situation because of your efforts. So thank yourself, right? But when it comes to being vulnerable, you have to be vulnerable in situations. If you find yourself not being vulnerable, you may make the wrong decision because you're not being true to yourself. Because you don't want to surrender to change. You'd rather go with a conflict. You'd rather get into an argument. You'd rather get into a fight. You'd rather this and that happen because you won't surrender. A lot of people don't want to surrender to the truth. Tell the truth. A lot of people just don't want to tell the truth. But telling the truth is what's going to set you free. Guys, I really care for the people who cannot get out of this jam. Like, I really want you to. I need you to. I need y'all to surrender. I need you to surrender to the circumstances, to the situation, so that you can grow. The only way you can grow, people say, is if you love your situation, if you're happy about your situation, if you this and that about your... If you surrender to it, that's the truth. Some people don't love their situations, and they may never. But if you was to surrender to your situation, accept that this is your situation, and move forward, you will realize you will grow. The day you'll grow is the day that you will surrender. Giving yourself to something 1,000% is not the way. It's not the way. Surrendering to something 100% is how you grow. When people are at their lowest, they get to the top, and yes, it's because of hard work, but it's because of this one important thing that they did, and they surrendered. When you're down on your butt, the only thing you can do is surrender to the circumstances, accept the reality, and grow. There was a situation, if you've been watching my videos, where I was at my lowest. I surrendered, and now I am seeing growth. It is so important that if things are going wrong in this Mercury retrograde, that you surrender. The truth of the matter is that you are being called to surrender to these situations. Knowing that the Saturn's in retrograde, that means karma is affecting people, good and bad. And no matter what, if it's a good or bad situation, they're being called to surrender to the situation, change their perspective, heal, and never do it again if it's negative, or redirect if it's negative. And if it's positive, to accept the healing. Even the people who are in the positive have to surrender, right? You guys have to understand that surrender is growth. Point blank, period. Surrender is growth, right? And that's why I want you guys to be mindful, right? To be vulnerable, to see the light in the situation, because there's nothing you can control about the situation. If you're going through something, you was going to go through this before you even knew it. It was already written in stone. You was going to go through it. But it's how you react to it. If you're stuck on it, if you're hurt about it, if you're always looking at your wounds, if you're too mindful of what went wrong, you aren't surrendering. Surrendering is accepting that it happened, healing from it, and moving forward. You can't change what happened. You're not some time traveler. This is not what was it, Jumper, or whatever the dude's name was, that one movie. This is not that. You're not just gonna jump and go somewhere else or do time travel. This is none of that. You have to surrender to the situation. Really surrender. Find yourself in a place of surrenderance and just sit there and accept it. The hardest thing for your ego to do is to surrender. The hardest thing for your ego to do is to accept a situation. That's why people get mad, they get defensive, they get angry, they start running, they start hating, they start talking bad, they start lying. They can't surrender to the situation. People truly just can't accept a situation for what it is. What I'm telling you guys is to take a deep breath. If you're going through something, surrender. And when I mean surrender, I don't mean give up. To surrender to a situation is to accept. Don't find yourself giving up. That's not what I mean. But hope you guys liked the video. Live, laugh, twist.